Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Explore and Excel Knowledge. In this video, we will be exploring the interesting topic respiration. Respiration is a vital process that provides the energy to our body that needs to function. Let's start with the basics. All living organisms require energy for survival. Starting from waking, eating, sleeping, studying, etc., we need energy. From where does the energy come from? Yeah, it comes from food. But food directly won't contribute energy. The digested food should further break down to release energy. The process that converts the digested food into energy is known as respiration. Why is respiration so important? Respiration provides the energy needed for all cellular activity. Without it, cells could not perform the functions like growth, repair, or maintenance. For example, our muscles need energy to contract and move. Our brain needs energy to process information. And even when we are at rest, our body is constantly performing essential functions that require energy. Cellular respiration is a process that takes place inside the cells to convert glucose into energy in the form of ATP. This energy is what our cells use to perform their functions. The oxygen-rich air that we inhale is transported to all parts of the body and it finally reaches every cell. Inside the cell, now the food is in the form of glucose. This glucose should be broken down further to release energy. So respiration involves both gaseous exchange and burning of food. Organisms do this in different ways. Some uses oxygen to break down glucose completely into carbon dioxide and water, and some organisms uses some other pathway that lacks or do not involve oxygen. Let's explore about ATP before the types of respiration. You know that the energy released during the process of respiration is used to make an ATP molecule. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. It is composed of adenine, ribose and three phosphate groups. Let us see how this ATP molecule is made. See, this is ADP. ADP has two phosphate molecule. For the conversion of ADP to ATP, we need a phosphate group to get attached. Okay, so this is an inorganic phosphate. So for the attachment of this phosphate molecule, it requires some energy. That energy is provided by respiration reaction. The energy which is released during the respiration reaction is utilized here to join this inorganic phosphate molecule to ADP to form ATP. This process is known as phosphorylation. Phosphorylation means addition of phosphate molecule. So now the energy derived from the respiration is stored in the chemical bond of last phosphate in ATP. When this terminal phosphate linkage in ATP is broken down using a water molecule, the energy is released with the phosphate molecule. Okay, the energy equivalent is 30.5 kilojoules per mole. The process is known as hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means breakdown with the help of water that releases energy which is equivalent to 30.5 kilojoules per mole. Okay, since ATP has high energy content, it is known as currency of cell. ATP is just like a battery for your cells. Just like a battery, power your toys. ATP powers everything your cells do. like protein synthesis, muscle contraction, conduction of nerve impulses, etc. There are two types of respiration. They are aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. The respiration which uses oxygen to break down food is known as aerobic respiration. Example, in humans and plants, aerobic respiration takes place. The site of respiration is cytoplasm and mitochondria. In anaerobic respiration, the respiration takes place without oxygen. It takes place in bacteria and yeast. The site of respiration is cytoplasm. Let me explain it one by one in detail. The first step of aerobic respiration takes place in cytoplasm, where glucose is converted into pyruvate or pyruvic acid by the process of glycolysis. Here, 6 carbon molecule glucose is converted into 2 molecules of 3 carbon pyruvate or pyruvic acid. So during this process, it will yield 2 ATP molecule. Since oxygen is present in the cells, pyruvate is further broken down by the process of citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle, which takes place in mitochondria. It releases carbon dioxide and transfers the electron by carrier molecule, which will be later used by the electron transport chain system. So during this process, it will produce few more ATP molecules. So next process is electron transport chain. This takes place in mitochondrial inner membrane. Electrons are transferred through series of proteins, which drives the production of large amount of ATP molecules. Together, these steps will allow the cells to produce large amount of ATP, which is essential for the cellular function. That is, it will produce as a total of 38 ATP molecules. Okay, so see this equation. Glucose is converted into pyruvate by the process of glycolysis. Then, since the oxygen is present in the cell, this pyruvate is converted into carbon dioxide by the process of Krebs cycle. Then with the help of electron transport chain, more ATP molecules are produced with the release of byproduct water. Understood? Anaerobic respiration. The respiration which takes place in absence of oxygen is known as anaerobic respiration. The first step is conversion of glucose, 6 carbon molecule, into a simple sugar pyruvate, a 3 carbon molecule in cytoplasm. In absence of oxygen, this pyruvate gets converted into other substance and the energy is released. The process of anaerobic respiration in yeast can be depicted by this equation. Bacteria and yeast respires anaerobically. In yeast, pyruvate gets broken down into ethanol and carbon dioxide and the energy is released. The breakdown of sugar by yeast to make alcohol in the absence of oxygen is known as fermentation. The energy produced is comparably less when compared to aerobic respiration. That is, one molecule of glucose will produce only 2 molecules of ATP. Next, anaerobic respiration also takes place in human muscle cells during vigorous physical exercises. When oxygen gets used up faster in muscle cells than that is supplied by the blood, glucose is broken down into lactic acid in the absence of oxygen. The accumulation of lactic acid causes muscle cramps. After some time, with increased blood flow, the oxygen level increases again after which the muscle break down this lactic acid again into carbon dioxide and water and relieve from the cramps. To summarize it, glucose, a 6-carbon compound, is present in the cells. The oxidation of glucose to pyruvate by the process of glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm of the cell. The fate of pyruvate formed during the respiration depends on whether oxygen is present in the cells or not. If oxygen is present in the cell, then pyruvate is completely oxidized to carbon dioxide, water, and lots of energy is produced in the form of ATP. If oxygen is not present in the cells, pyruvate is converted to either ethanol or lactic acid depending on the process taking place in which organism. This tabular column depicts the difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, whereas anaerobic respiration takes place in absence of oxygen. Here, the glucose is completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water, whereas in anaerobic, incomplete oxidation of glucose takes place to form lactic acid or ethanol and carbon dioxide. Aerobic respiration takes place in animal cell and plant cell, whereas anaerobic respiration takes place in yeast, bacteria, and human muscle cells. Aerobic respiration yields 38 ATP from single molecule of glucose, whereas in anaerobic respiration, one molecule of glucose yields 2 ATP molecules. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it informative and useful. See you next time. Do subscribe for more videos.